Welcome back, my fellow golf ball addicts. I have 3 golf balls today that I am hoping are push the boundaries of distance off the tee. That's why these 3 have been selected. We have the MG Senior golf ball, we have the Diawings Max golf ball, and we have the Precept Powerdrive. Let's see which one wins. Let's see if these are any good. Let's dive right in. Guys, as always, thank you so much for all the support. We now have over 100 members on the channel. This membership just starts at $1 a month. It helps me provide content to you guys, and I love you guys so much for it. Thank you. We also have a GoFundMe in the description on the link. There's a lot of ways pretty soon you're going to be able to support the channel, but honestly, what you're doing right now is the best method. Just watch the videos, like, comment, subscribe, all the free stuff, and that helps the algorithm so much. I appreciate everyone who does that. All right, so like I said, these 3 golf balls I'm hoping really push the boundaries off the tee. They're all 2-piece distance golf balls, but there's some strategy behind that, right? So the MG Senior, let's start with that real quick. This is a golf ball that is illegal. It does not conform to USGA because the initial velocity, which I found out, is too high, which I didn't even realize that was a thing. Like, it conforms to everything else, but it's too fast. Yeah, I'm going to be making some videos about that real soon, so be on the lookout for that. But that's time for another day. We also have the Diawings Max golf ball, and this is a golf ball I tested last year, and it's actually, I guess, Diamond Wings, but it's called Diawings. And when I tested it last year, it was incredible. I was blown away, but my main knock was the price. We'll cover that in a second, but again, as far as distance, as far as explosiveness, one of the best I'd ever seen. Then we get into the last one, which is the Precept Powerdrive. Now, I had not tested this one before. It's obviously from Bridgestone. It's obviously from the Precept line. We know the Precept Laddie is one of the best golf balls we've ever tested on this channel, so testing the Powerdrive does make sense, but maybe this is more of the fast swinger golf ball. We'll find out. But I'm hoping all 3 of these just kill it on the driver. That's the main goal here. As far as what they do elsewhere, honestly, I don't know, but I'm hoping maybe we can even get a record broken, so we'll see. Let's go into pricing and design on these golf balls here. Now, if we look at this little chart I made, the MG Senior, let's start with that on the left here. That's $20 a dozen. The compression is not listed. In fact, it's not listed for any of these golf balls. 2 layers, just all of them across the board are going to be 2 layers, but the MG Senior and the Diawings Max are actually Surlyn. More on that from Diawings in a second, and it comes with a 350 dimple design. It's available in white as well as a yellow. Then if we look at the Diawings, it's $35 a dozen. Now remember, I talked about that price a while ago. We'll talk about it more here in a second. Not listed again, 2-piece DuPont Surlyn as well as LG rubber from Korea, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So premium materials on the Diawings, like really premium materials. So that's probably why it costs more, you know, but let's be real, $35 a dozen for a 2-piece is always a hard sell. It just is because, well, the MG Senior's 20. You know what I mean? The Precept Power, let's look at the Precept Powerdrive. $20 for 15 golf balls, as you can see. So that's what makes it really tough, but not listed. 2-piece iometer, 372 on the Precept Powerdrive, only comes in a white. Now the Diawings, I didn't talk about it, comes in a variety of different colors, as you can see. White, yellow, orange, pink, so that's good too. At least you have some options. So that's what we're looking at there. Now, as far as the design here, I want to show you. Starting with the MG Senior, it has a circle with MG in the middle, very basic. I'm sure a few of you have seen this out on the course a time or two. If we look at the alignment tool, it kind of looks like rewind and fast forward in the middle of the word Senior. Cool. At least it's symmetrical. I mean, you can line your ball up, barely, but it works. Yeah, actually comes up pretty clear. Then we have the Diawings golf ball. Now, I have the pink model in my hand, but, you know, they can, like I said, can be variety. Now, not everyone's going to like that logo. It does look a little out there, maybe a little too much. It says Diawings, has a cool number on there. They do like 88, 77, they do cool numbers. If we look at the alignment tool on the side, it has a, well actually, first of all, on one side it has a big old diamond that says M2, and then if we look on the other side for the alignment tool, it actually has like this rod with diamonds on the ends, and it says Diamond Wings, Ultra Distance. Again, it kind of feels over the top, but I mean, it works. I can see it, so I mean, it works, but it might be a little too flashy for some. Then we look at the Precept Powerdrive. It says Precept, which is, you know, we're accustomed to here. That's what the Laddie kind of looks like. Has a red number now, 33. Cool. We come over here on the side and look. You know, that alignment tool is an E for effort because it's not symmetrical. So I mean, like, you can see it, but like it's not symmetrical. I think that would throw me off. But anyway, All right, let's get out to the chipping and putting green and let's see how they do around there. All right, starting with the MG Senior. Yeah, I don't really know what to expect out here. I don't expect these golf balls to have a ton of bite, but let's see. Not an ounce. I actually softened that one on purpose. No rotation, but that's not a bad thing. It means it's gonna be a bump and run ball most likely. I'm just gonna try to get it right in the hole because I already know there's not gonna be any rotation. Look at that, look at that, look at that. Oh man, so close. Yeah, so probably one of the slowest rotations I've ever seen on a ball, but again, that makes going for the hole a lot easier. You know, if you're an advanced player and you need to manipulate the ball, it's bad, but if you're just a guy out there still trying to work on your game and you just need really forgiving into the hole, this might be good. I'm gonna put one of these in. Again, nice and soft. As far as the feel, little left. Yeah, as far as the feel, it's actually a lot softer than I anticipated on it being. It just has a little tiny bit of feedback, like very, very faint. Sound is non-existent. Okay, not bad. It lands really soft actually, so it may not spin, but I mean, it lands soft. Next up, we have Diawings. Now, if I remember correctly, this one comes off pretty hot. Now, what's interesting about that ball is the rotation wasn't a lot, but it had tug. I don't know if you saw it, but I mean, it was kind of bouncing around. There's a little bit of bass effect there. So one more time. Oh yeah, absolutely. There's tons of tug. I can immediately tell that the Diawings has a click. I can hear it. It's very loud, very clicky. Again, the feedback's minimal. It's just that faint, but you can definitely hear it, but I got to see more about this. Okay. Very high launch too, very high launch. Again, no rotation, bump and rind ball. It does have a little bit of tug, so I'll give it 10%, a little bit over the MG Senior, but don't expect this golf ball to spin. These are bump and runs. Precept Powerdrive, and hey, I'm just gonna make a bold exclamation here. I'm just gonna go ahead and bet the farm. I'm gonna bet this is another bump and run ball, but we'll see. Oh, very soft, yeah. Yeah, no rotation. Very soft though. I mean, like actually very soft. Again, faint, it's not dead. No sound almost. Yeah, barely any sound at all. Little bit of tug there. One more time, I wanna run it back. Boy, getting close. I'm giving myself chances. So yeah, they're all bump and run balls. They all feel and kind of act a little differently. So here's the chart. You can look at it and see if any of this applies to you. But yeah, not bad. I mean, I like how consistent they are. I like how forgiving they are. They're not going to spin. They don't, you know, it's not expected to. So far, so good. All right, starting with our wooden mallet putter. Let's see how it feels. Let's see how it comes off the club. Oh, I like the click. See, that's traditional right there. And I'll tell you what, when it comes to traditional golf balls, the one area I really like them, it's not on iron feel, it's on putter feel. That little click you get. Oh, I love that. Oh, beautiful roll, seriously. Oh, get in the hole. Yeah, I love the roll, seriously. That golf ball screams traditional, and traditional can mean good or bad depending on, you know, because when I say traditional, I mean your 90s golf balls, the ones that were like rocks, top rock, all that stuff. Listen, they weren't great off of your full swing clubs, but when it came to putting and stuff, they had an essence about them, you know what I mean? And this golf ball just really has that. It has a true roll. Oh, I could putt with that all day, guys. 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. I love that. I know the putt sucks, but that's me. That's not the golf ball. All right, Diawings. Oh, again, that's actually pretty close to what I just felt with the MG. Not quite as buttoned up, but really good. I heard the click. I felt the feedback. Really good roll. Now, distance control on this one's fast. I had to take a little off. Now, you'll notice these golf balls have no interest in getting in that hole whatsoever, and I don't know why, but they just don't. Yeah, again, 5 out of 5 roll. I love what it does. There's no chug effect. It's just beautiful. Oh yeah, I mean, I can just slap it around. I don't even have to really try. Yeah, excellent. Hey, 2 for 2. Let's go 3 for 3. I mean, let's do it. Precept Powerdrive. Let's see what we got here. Not bad, pretty good. Okay, I dig it. So that feels more modern out of the 3. More subdued, not loud click. The feedback's a little more subdued as well. It's still pretty good. It actually passes, and I love the roll. The roll's actually really good too. I don't see any chug effect, which is great. Most of these firmer golf balls like these three don't, but still, it's nice to see on a golf ball that costs as much as this does. Yeah, that's excellent. I like that. So if you're a modern guy, the Precept Powerdrive has that modern putter feel. The other two, though, I love that traditional clicky. But they all pass. They're all excellent. All right, traditional blade putter now. Let's see how this changes things here. Okay, not a good putt. Yeah, all the magic's gone. It doesn't feel the same. It's more of a hollow click. It's more subdued. The roll's a 4 out of 5. Feedback is minimal. The magic's not there anymore. I'm a little disgusted because it was so good a second ago, but it's average. I mean, it's average. It's not bad. It's just after having that mallet and then going to that, it's just so disappointing. Okay, I like that. Yeah, that was still good. Wow, that golf ball just explodes. That has some, I mean, that distance control, it is fast. Well, I can't putt today, but I actually do like that. That actually still has some of that traditional click. It's not quite as pleasant when it comes off the mallet, but it's still really good. I like that a lot. It's definitely a little better with this blade putter than the MG Senior, but yeah. So now let's actually see if the Precept Powerdrive comes through here. Oh, that's heavy. Whoa, that's heavy. Oh, no, 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 no. Oh goodness, just really heavy. You know what I mean? Just, the feel's not bad. It's okay. It's just really heavy. I mean, it feels like when I hit it, it feels like there's a small delay and like you wait the blink of an eye and then it goes. It's just not a big fan of that. So really all three of these golf balls, blade is not the type of putter you want to be using. If you're using a blade, I don't think you're going to be super impressed. But if you're using a mallet like most people are nowadays, I love all three of them. They're really easy to putt, really easy to control. Love the feel, love the traditional click of the first two. Really good stuff. Let's go see how it feels off the irons. MG Senior first. Let's see how these full shots feel. A lot of power behind that ball. Yeah, definitely a little traditional feeling, which isn't a bad thing, but I'm surprised at the amount of explosiveness. Like, it actually feels like I got all of it. Oh! Yeah, when you hit it pure, maybe I do like traditional, I don't know. When you hit it pure, 1000%, that is a 5 out of 5. That feels awesome. It really does. Definitely more on the firmer side, clickier, but psh, I love it. When you hit it right, there's so many endorphins that rush to your brain. It's insanity. I gotta hit one bad here. Yeah, see, 3 out of 5 on mishit. Like, that's the thing about firm balls. You mishit them, boy, they feel firm and ouch, and it hurts your hands, but boy, you hit them just right, and whoo, baby. Wow, really solid again. Not a lot of feedback in that ball. I felt the explosiveness. It had kind of that little, kind of like the putter, a little bit of that traditional, but not quite as much as the MG. But there's not any feedback though. It's very, very low feedback. The MG I felt like was more of a medium high, but this is low feedback. Okay, miss hit. Yeah, I mean, 3 out of 5 on miss hit, 4 out of 5 on pure hit. Solid, very solid feeling. A little heavy. Yeah, that was a pure, but it kind of like how I talked about with the mallet putter, or maybe it was the blade, I'm sorry, it was one of the putters, about how heavy it felt. It just felt like there was a delay. That's what that felt like, just not quite as good as the other two. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's like a 3 out of 5 on pure. Oh, and that's a 2 out of 5, ow. Yeah, that's a 2 out of 5 on miss hits. So Precept Powerdrive, I'm not super impressed with when it comes to the feel, but the other two, very nice. All right, let's talk some data now. Let's see how these golf balls did. I'm interested to see these results here. Let's start with the 50-yard pitch, backspin RPM as always. We are looking at the MG Senior. Hey, actually holds its own, 8,019, just barely into the green. I mean, by like a couple RPM, but hey, doesn't matter. Green is green. 29.5, excellent launch angle there. Diawings 7,551, which, you know, is okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but it is going to at least stop on the green. 28.9, yep, that passes, you know, barely. Then we look at the Precept Powerdrive, 6,958. That's really low. I did see a lot of inconsistency with the 50-yard pitch. It wants to launch high at 31.5, so as always, it's trying to launch high to, you know, to make up for the fact there's no spin. I don't really care for that. You know, I've tried to like be nice and find ways to get around it and try to sugarcoat it, but the reality is I just don't prefer that style, because if you play in any type of wind whatsoever, it's going to start to really affect the ball flight. I think most people with their wedges nowadays, not everyone, but most people would prefer just a nice kind of like mid or low flight and have a lot of spin, because, well, it's going to keep it out of the wind and keep it toward the hole. You know what I mean? And that's what we want. So it is what it is. Impressed with the MG Senior. Getting in the green's a big deal there for a two-piece golf ball, so I love to see it. If we look at the pitching wedge now, starting with the MG Senior, 98 low. First of all, let's just look across that top row there. Those are all three excellent ball mile per hour speeds. I kept the swing speed relatively close, which is great. If we look at the spin, now spin is all mid across the board. There's no, you know, they're all relatively close. That means they're going to check up on the green, but they're not going to rip back to you. Launch angle, really low with the MG Senior, kind of a mid with the Diawings, and a high with the Precept Latty. So depending on what launch angle you need, there you go. I mean, that's low, mid, and high. Distance-wise, all in the green. Smash factors, I mean, 1.25 is insane. I don't see that very often, everyone. I really, really don't. I gained 4 yards with the MG Senior, 4 yards with the Diawings, and about, you know, 2 to 3 yards roughly with the Precept Powerdrive. So those numbers are fantastic, and honestly, I didn't expect it, because when I tested the MG Senior, it felt so firm and traditional and clicky that just based on my, you know, what I've tested in the past, I thought, there's no way this will be good with wedges. You know, I just, maybe the driver, yes, but wedges, no. Very impressive across the board. So that's a good start. Sometimes if it does really well with the pitching wedge, it doesn't do well with the driver, so I'm hoping that's not the case, but let's get into 7-iron now, and let's see how that did. Starting with the MG Senior, we already have a record broken. That 120.4, as you can see, has a trophy next to it. That is a new record. 85 mile an hour with the swing speed. 120.4 is bonkers. It is crazy. I never thought I would see 120. 5,556 on your spin, which is great. That's in the green. It's going to hold the green really well. 16, again, launches low. 170.7 is, again, 170.7 I have seen, but I've seen that when the spin has been so ridiculously low that, yeah, of course you get that extra distance. But I've never seen 170 with over 5,500 RPM spin. I didn't even think it was possible. 1.42 is the best smash factor I have seen this year. Holy cow. I need to play more legal golf balls, baby. I'm missing out. 119 on the Diawings, which again is really good. Diawings is not illegal. It does conform to USGA. And I'll tell you what, that's a great number too. Low spin though, so 4,985. I got the 170, but like I just said, that's kind of what I'm accustomed to, is getting the 170 when there's low spin. 16.8 launched mid. Okay, so we're keeping the consistency there. Then we move into the Precept Powerdrive, 117.8, so not quite as good. It launched high opposed to mid, so that consistency reigns through there again. 55.04 is a mid spin, pretty good, not bad for a two-piece. 166.2, 167, and 1.40. You know, it's a shame that the Precept looks bad when you compare it to the other two, but the numbers are still green. So all three of these golf balls are well above average. I mean, I'm actually very impressed with all of them. But the MG Senior, again, I mean, I know it's illegal, but, and again, we're going to talk about that a little bit at the end, and we're going to talk about it. I'm going to make a whole video about it, but that's really, really special. And the fact that Diawings actually was a close second, and it is USGA approved. I mean, both of those, I think that the Diawings does it because of the spin, obviously, but the MG Senior is just like the complete ball right now. It spins, it goes a mile. I mean, it's like having your cake and eating it too. That's one of those things on Golf Ball Addict where if you're Golf Ball and you can have your cake and eat it too, you end up pretty high in the top 10, so, or the top 100, excuse me, which is coming up very soon. Now let's look at the driver, and let's start with the MG Senior, which we did it. That's a new record right there, 147.6. Never a doubt, baby. 98.9, might have swung just a tad fast, but compared to the other golf balls like the Chrome Soft and the Bridgestone that were at the top of the list, that's right in line with that. Low spin, 2101, very low spin off the tee, 241.8, 250.3. I don't even think I've hit 250 this year on total distance. That's awesome. 1.49. Then we get to the Diawings, 145.7, which is another amazing number. I actually swung low, 97, about 2 mile an hour lower. So that's a huge difference there. So that's something to keep in mind. 1,919, extremely low spin. One of the lowest spins I've seen. Again, kind of the same launch there, 16.5, 16.6. 238.5, 248.1, and a 1.50 smash factor, which basically is almost perfect. I mean, you can't really get too much better than that. You can, obviously, in theory, but it's extremely rare. 145.5, 98.1, 2,300, and okay, so the Precept kind of spun a little bit more and it launched a little bit lower, which is okay. It launches a little lower, the spin's gonna get it up in the air a little bit more, but it did suffer on the distance because of that, but still a fantastic smash factor. So there's a lot of consistency here in these numbers, which I really like, you know, as far as the launch angles for each of them. The Precept continues to look like the runt of the litter here, but it's still well above average compared to the other 90 golf balls I've tested this year. So that's awesome. I love to see that. The MG Senior is the real deal here. Broken records with the 7-iron, broken records with, almost broke records with the pitching wedge, but broke records with the driver. I want to talk about the Diawings though. I truly believe that if I had swung around the same as far as 2 mile an hour faster, like if I had done the same swing speed for both, I think Diawings would be close to that ball speed. I don't know if it would beat it, but I think yardage it would because of that low spin, 1,919. Again, having your cake, eating it too. Both of those golf balls. Right now, MG Senior, I am like over the moon with right now. This is insane. Diawings, I already knew Diawings was awesome. It was just trying to justify the price. It kind of is. Now that we have a little bit more confined testing, a little bit better testing, and we have more controlled, now I can kind of see why. You have the premium materials, you have, you know, incredible numbers. Would I pay it? I don't know, probably not. But I'm just saying, like some of you I know, there's a lot of new people on the channel and price isn't an issue to you. That's something to take a look at. Precept again is awesome. It's kind of like the poor man's distance ball because it's amazing, but you can get 15 of them for 20 bucks. So anyway, I don't want to drag on there. I'm just really impressed with these numbers. So let's go ahead and go over to the computer and let's look at accuracy and dispersion. And let's see if any of these are going to be a little wonky. All right, starting off with the MG Senior. Now, I want to apologize for the way this looks. My software is currently glitching out on me, and they had an update, and yada, yada, yada. So now they don't all come up at once anymore, so I have to piece them together. So I apologize it looks so bad. I'll try to find a way to make it work if they don't have it fixed by the next review I do. If we start with the 50-yard pitch, which is the furthest on the left, not bad at all. Actually, all really good darts in there, all within, relative range, gives birdie opportunities. Looking at the pitching wedge, the consistency is absolutely incredible. I mean, seriously, the distance control is excellent. Accuracy's not bad, but boy, everything is right on that line. When we get into the 7-iron, which is the yellow, my goodness gracious, that's one of the best 7-irons I've seen this year. Everything is on the green, everything is tight. All 10 of those are birdie opportunities. 9 out of 10 are actually probably really high chance birdie opportunities. Driver is not bad at all. I had one pull, but other than that, everything is nice and tight in the fairway. I'm really surprised by the distance control with this golf ball. Usually golf balls that are firmer like this do not have as much forgiveness and consistency, but I was pleasantly surprised by this one. All right, when we get to the Diawings, as you can see, the 50-yard pitch, not as great there. Distance control's kind of all over the place. When we get to the pitching wedge, it's not bad, but boy, the MG Senior makes it look worse than it actually is because it was so good. When we get to the 7-iron, it's all over the place. Distance control, very punishing, unforgiving, all over the place. And then when we get to the driver's not bad. I don't like the distance control. I wish consistency was a little bit better, but as far as accuracy is getting in the fairway, I think it did a pretty good job. So, solid effort, but the MG Senior definitely kind of overshadows it there. Last but not least, we have the Precept Powerdrive, and 50-yard pitch is pretty impressive there. Everything's really tight. Everything's in the middle. That's great. Pitching wedge is the same way. I mean, there's a lot that are just right on top of the flag there, right in the middle of the center. That's great. 7-iron, I love the distance control, but I don't like the accuracy. Accuracy is all over the place. Not one of the most accurate balls I've tested this year for sure. It definitely is spread out over a course of, let's see, farthest right, farthest left, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 yards almost. That's pretty rough, even with the human element in there. Then we get to the driver again, kind of all spread out. Distance control is pretty good for the most part, but accuracy just seems to be kind of spread all over. So this is definitely a golf ball that if you aren't the most accurate, I would avoid, but if you're someone who's a pretty good ball striker, it might work for you. All right, let's look at durability now. Let's see what we're working with. We're going to start with the MG Senior here. Looking at it, it's a little beat up, and I mean, this is a cheap golf ball. It's $20 a dozen. Surlyn is usually pretty good at durability as far as not, cracking or not, having tears in it, and I don't see any, so that part's good. But it does have scuffs. It looks like it's been hit pretty hard a couple times. I did hit a tree with it, and I know it. I'm hitting into a net, so just don't ask. Overall, it doesn't look bad. It's not great either. I'll call it a 6 out of 10. I think it'll get you through a round, but, we'll see. Next up, we have the Diawings. Looking at it, it looks a little faded as far as the color. It looks a little faded as far as, the numbering and stuff. You can see some of the paint kind of chipping off a little bit. But as far as if I feel the whole golf ball, it's pretty rough to the touch. It's got some rough spots. I wouldn't trust it. Again, I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10 again. Just not great. I actually expected a little bit more from this one because of the DuPont Surlyn, because of the premium materials it was made out of. I did have a higher expectation, so especially with the price. So a little disappointing there, but still 6 out of 10. It passes just barely. Last but not least, we have the Powerdrive, and again, if we look at the Precept on this side, you can see where I really hit it quite a bit. Very rough to the touch there, scrolling around. The rest of it actually looks pretty darn good. It's really just that one area, so that's a 7 out of 10. So that's probably the best of the three, and it's the cheapest of the three, so explain that. But this is the only ionomer, so maybe ionomer is a little bit more durable, which I didn't think was the case, but that's how the test came out at least. All right. So, closing thoughts. Let's start with the MG Senior here. Now, there is a gentleman named Alan who has been emailing me since November of last year. And he every month emails me and says, hey, will you do a review of this golf ball? I had it on my list. Alan, I'm so sorry. I should have reviewed this sooner. You're the only one who's ever really requested it. And so I had it on the back burner, but I was just waiting. And finally, I just said, this guy's been going for a year. I got to just test it for him. I am so glad I did. I should have done it sooner because, yes, the golf ball is illegal, which I don't agree with. I'm sorry, but like the idea to me that I understand why USGA is checking for roundness, symmetrical, standards. I get all that. That's fine. But the only thing that this ball didn't pass on was initial velocity, which tells me it's too fast. I mean, imagine for a second. Imagine you cook me a beautiful meal, and I eat it, and I go, hey, listen, this was a great meal, but listen, it was too tasty. I'm sorry, it was too tasty. I want a good amount of taste. I want it to be, very tasty, but it can't be a masterpiece of tasty. I can't be thinking about it after the meal. You know what I'm saying? If you apply this logic to anything else in life, it sounds ridiculous, because it is. So I'll make more content about that. I'm going to research, do a little deep dive. You're welcome in the comments to do that as well. But for me, look, I play recreationally. I couldn't give two darns if this golf ball is illegal or not. I just couldn't, because we're all average, right? Most of us are average. We need all the help we can get. If I think this golf ball is going to help me, if I'm playing in a scramble with my, that's what I do every weekend, is play a scramble with my family and friends. Yeah, I'm going to use this golf ball off the tee. Of course I am. I don't care if it's illegal or not. Like, it's not a self-correcting ball. It's not, cheating. It's just too fast. I don't get that. But anyway, sorry, little rant there. This golf ball is amazing. If you don't care about the rules like I don't, as far as initial velocity, I care about the other rules. But if you don't care about that, look, it broke records. 7-iron, driver, just incredible. $20, you can get them in a yellow. What more do you want? Next up, we have the Diawings golf ball. I knew it was great. I knew I tested it last year. I knew I loved it. I didn't realize the numbers were quite this good, but I knew they were good. If you can justify the $35 a dozen for a two-piece, DuPont, certainly good materials, but still a two-piece at its core. It's really good. I like it a lot. If you don't get kind of offended by the, you know, weird designs, if you don't get put off by that, it's cool. It's a great golf ball. It feels great. I love it. I've used it for the last year, you know, scramble teams, hitting off the tee and stuff. I've loved it. It's worth a shot for sure if you don't mind paying the price, and if you do want a golf ball that is USGA conforming. Really good test numbers there, and not surprising. Last up is the Precept Powerdrive. Now look, the Powerdrive might be for really fast swingers. That might be its, you know, target audience. Maybe I'm just a little slow for it. Not much, but a little. But overall, still fantastic numbers. If you're on a budget and you want to try it, if you like the Precept Laddie, but you just find yourself wanting maybe more of a faster swing, maybe you increased your swing speed or something, it is worth a shot. You get 15 golf balls for 20 bucks. It's a great value. It held up the best on durability of the three. Out of these 3 golf balls, there's not a bad one in the bunch. If you are someone who is a mid-handicapper, if you're a 11, 12 handicap and above, you need to just keep it in play. You need to play, tee to green. These are all really good golf balls. I didn't see anything in them that would make me think, wow, that's going to hurt your game. And that's impressive. For a triple review, usually there's a lot more criticism in there, but these 3 all did really well for that. And I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, thank you guys so much. Keep watching, keep saving, keep learning. Until next time, I'll see you soon.